Welcome to China Focus. Stores closed, shops shuttered. These images last week from Shenyang, China show parts of the city turned into a ghost town. The reason? Widespread panic among business owners after reports that local authorities were running a campaign to crack down on counterfeiting, but were actually using the crackdown to impose huge fines on businesses to make up for local government budget shortfalls ahead of the 2013 National Games, which will be held in Shenyang. But is that the real reason for authorities' actions? Is Shenyang an isolated incident? And what effect does this have on China's broader economy? Here to discuss today, we have Chen Zhifei and Jason Ma. Thanks for joining us. Let's start with, is this incident over now? The local government has come out and said, you know, we're not doing the counterfeiting crackdown anymore.
Yeah, people begin to notice is like middle of last month, like 13th of July. And it's going to get to the peak around the 6th of August. And on that day, the local government has a kind of urgent meeting, and then they release some kind of decision, like first, we will not do any of this examination anymore. So just come out, don't hire anymore, and then it doesn't work. So on the 8th, they put another note with threat, like if you don't come out, you will face a consequence. Now, so on the 9th, which is last Thursday, people begin gradually open their store now.
So it was like they were basically forced to open.
Yeah. In kind of they scared, so they closed, and now they scared, they opened. Yeah.
So a lot of people were reporting that, okay, it was rumors, like we see in Western media, that like people were scared of rumors that there were a lot of businesses were going to be, you know, they're cracking down on counterfeiting. Is that what happened?
If you want to identify any sort of scaremongering, then it's the people who are putting out those notices. Their behavior really scared people away, because they are doing inspection shop by shop and impose heavy fines. There was very dramatic incidents where a vendor was selling toothpicks and was imposed a fine of $5,000 because he couldn't present proper documents for environmental protection. That's really absurd.
It's kind of
it's really
so the toothpick vendor was fined like 5,000 yuan for
violation of without proper certification of the wood that was used as toothpicks, because there was no evidence of their fit the environmental protection credentials imposed by the government. It's very strange, because on the surface you have legitimate concerns, and the New York Times or those green or environmentalists would probably applaud the behavior or such action by the government. However, you need to put in a Chinese context to really see the true story and the significance here. Because in America, everything is heavily regulated. Government, on the one hand, is doing a very good job and certify everything. On the other hand, they keep it very balanced. They don't really get themselves involved in daily operations. Because if you visit Whole Foods or visit a meat packing market, you see the labels on the product says, okay, U.S. Department of Agriculture certified. In China, jobs like this are left to the whims and personal understanding of the local industry and commerce officials, who basically have the job of walking around, visiting shops, and if they think you are okay, you are okay. If you don't think you're okay, boom, they impose a fine.
Right. Basically, it's funny in many different ways. For example, in other cases, a local Apple store, because they're selling some non-Apple accessories, they will find a $250,000 yuan because they are selling non-Apple things in an Apple store, which is kind of nobody makes sense out of it. Why? But this is just kind of what John just said, is basically they have arbitrary kind of power to do whatever they want to do. It's not about counterfeiting. It's not about kind of protect the environment. It's about money. It's about collecting a lot of money, punishment out of these people. Why? It's just because, as you said, some people said next year they will have a national game, and the local government, they just don't have enough government income this year to have a splendid show. So they get used to the splendid show, like the Olympic game in Beijing, and so they want to mimic that. So they need to get enough money the only thing is to squeeze the local business.
Is that really the reason that they have to impose these fines because of the budget shortfall?
Yeah, the budget shortfall, I think that's consistent with the economic numbers of statistics coming out of China's Statistical Bureau. According to the most recent numbers that were issued for the month of July, the export machine, which the Chinese economy has basically stalled, industry numbers, manufacturing sector is shrinking, consumer sentiment is not good. And also, worst of everything, the primary income source for the local government, that is by selling land and real estate, are really contracting significantly. They lost more than 30% of that income in comparison with last year. So that put all kind of burden on local government to finance these grand projects, the showpiece
But if you
events.
look at the data, the first 7 months, the overall government income still increased 11.6%, which if US got this, everyone is kind of laughing in the dream. But in China, they get used to also kind of government income increase 20 to 30% a year for many, many years. So and also they get kind of used to the windfall of money from selling land. When these two pieces kind of missed, so although they still have 11% of increase in government income, they still don't think that's enough. Especially in this case, they need extra money for this global national game, and so this became a kind of a turning, kind of like the breaking point. Basically, it's more like the government don't think they got enough money, which we think more than enough. And meanwhile, they think they need extra money to do this. So they kind of, this thing happened. But this is not something they invented. This kind of activity is happening in China almost everywhere, every day. It's just because in this particular city, Shenyang, they are carrying in this kind of coordinated kind of scale, and in this kind of whole city scale, and in this very harsh way, so that to push everyone to the point where people just give up. I mean, people tolerate it.
Yeah, I agree. I think to a certain extent, when we cite official statistics, we are playing the role of the devil's advocate, because everybody knows those statistics are manufactured and are used for domestic consumption. That's also the reason when the author Gordon Chang, who wrote the book The Coming Collapse of Chinese Economy, was interviewed by Wall Street Journal. He said, commenting on the numbers I just gave you from the official bureau of China, he said those numbers are not believable. And he said actually he used electricity consumption that was out from China as the most reliable indicator of the manufacturing or economy condition. And for the month of July, actually, the electricity consumption has dipped by over like 1%. So everything come to, taken together, you're seeing a slowing economy, you're seeing the nervousness of local officials, the drying up of the local finances, and anxiety of the consumers, including the vendors who are the recipients of government policy and who are actually the people who would bear the brunt of the burden if the government tighten up. And that's also the reason why the officials, the inspectors, the official and sanctioned industry and commerce officials are having a job that's very similar to what we call Wall Streeters. They are the master of the universe. They walk around and they're the elite of a local economy.
but I think the point here is basically they still gain money, but the point is they have unlimited power. I mean, when you are getting used to 20% of 30% of increase of your income, once you got a 10% of it, you get angry. So and meanwhile you have unlimited power. So this happened in this particular case. They just can abuse their power, and in a way where people just can't really tolerate anymore. Financially, it doesn't make sense. So because I make only like $20 a day, you'll find me $1,000. And so there's no point for me to run the business anymore. So this is a very, very important incident to showing what will happen once China slows down.
Yeah, let me ask, is this, like right now you said this happens all the time, we're only seeing it in Shenyang because it's such kind of a large scale, it's all the shops closed, and like you said, it's like...
To put it into perspective, Shenyang is actually not economic backwater. Shenyang is probably number 5 or number 6 city. It's a metropolis
around the top 10,
in the
right.
northeastern Manchuria area. It's most invested or sophisticated city in terms of manufacturing.
It's a
capital city of province of Liaoning, and number 5 city. If we're looking at the city that's very similar to Houston in terms of its status in comparable status in China. Yeah, so some people would think or dismiss it only as a tip of iceberg, or something like isolated event. But the whole iceberg is melting because it's spreading. We are seeing similar incidents that are happening in such coastal wealthy areas like Guangzhou, in Shanwei, in Haifeng, Lufeng. Local officials are making their inspectors as extortion collectors. They're walking around and cracking down on local vendors, business people on the pretext of anti-counterfeiting products.
Will you think that, you say this is happening more often, that they're cracking down? Do you think there's going to be more kind of incidents like in Shenyang where the business is just closed?
Right. This is the exact reason we want to talk about this, because for foreigners, they consider that's a local isolated event. No, I will tell you, this is an indicator, very, very indicator of a new phase of Chinese development. Basically, once the economy slows down, you will see the conflicting between the communist regime and the people will become more and more intense, and then to the point where people just cannot take it and don't play with them anymore. This is one of the reasons, and this will happen more and more.
Yeah, I can use an analogy to really illustrate the point. When you get in the room and you turn on the light and you saw a cockroach on the wall. And now this incident is a cockroach on the wall. Then what come next? You go to your kitchen cabinet. Wow, you open the door. The house is a mess. So we're not up to that point yet, but very, very close.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we're out of time today, but thank you both for joining us. It's really insightful, and we'll keep following up on these and other related incidents. So thank you very much. Sure. And thank you for watching. For more on this and other issues in China, join us at ntd.tv.